Hello, one and all. Welcome back to the podcast. It's InterBrews. That's the name of the podcast. You knew that because you're listening to it. If you know all that and you enjoy the podcast, Casey, we have a Patreon page where you can support the show for as little as $1 an episode. Help yourself, help me, help you, helping the beer community bring shows like this. So you can do that. That's all you have to do is go to patreon.com/interbrews or interbrews.com/Patreon, or just click the link at the bottom of the show. You know, and if you want to support, cool. And if you don't, that's cool too, because I'm really bad at sales. So, you know, totally up to you. But appreciate it if you do. Or if not, that's fine too. I just appreciate you listening. All right, on to the show. Let's do this.
The following is a presentation of Stewed Productions.
Hey, this is Casey from Eureka Heights Brewing Company, and you're listening to InterBrews.
This is InterBrews.
Was better when you did it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like you really put heart and soul into it.
Yeah, you guys missed me going through my second puberty and my voice cracking like I was on the Brady Bunch.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah, Peter Brady.
I'm sure on the tail end of this little nagging cough thing. I thought it's over, but occasionally I get that goofy little hiccup in my throat.
Was that before or after the beach?
During? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got back from a little beach trip, looking a little tan.
Yeah, I was noticing you're
for me at least. Bronze,
you're,
yeah.
You're bronzed up.
Looking at George Hamilton a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
No, we're different shades, but similarly pale.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I'm more of a pinkish.
Yeah.
You have just the. I mean, it's pale, but it's not.
It's just pale, not
Yes.
even the pink.
Yeah,
so.
I've got like blue is my darkest color
Yeah,
for sure. When you can see me.
Don't get a lot of sunlight in the brewery.
No.
So.
Or in a podcast studio or whatever I do, anywhere I go. So welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. It's been a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to our first episode way back when, 2016, right after y'all had first opened.
Barely open, I think.
So you and I have been the best of friends for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
And then you were on the round table about a year ago, a little give or take, and now you're back. And we shed off Matt,
everybody else,
Matt, John,
the dead weight.
Yeah, all that.
I think it was
weight.
Catherine. It was better than John.
Even better.
So, yeah. So I wouldn't mind if Catherine showed up, but as long as John doesn't swing by.
She brings it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy, I don't know what's going on with John. He's like, has this disdain for corn.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he was saying he didn't enjoy corn in beers on your podcast. I took personal offense.
I knew there was going to be contention.
Yeah.
But I think it's the model of a good host, just to let people kind of go where they're going to go.
Yeah, he got a good Maury vibe. I'm assuming there's a cameraman going to chase me around in a little bit. Yeah.
I don't want to do any censorship. I want people to feel like this is a free space for them to really put their thoughts and ideas out.
Yeah, and just drive a wedge between the entire craft beer community.
If that's what needs to happen. It was all meant to be. You know, all this huggy-feely, like we're all friends thing was how long could that last?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So, but also welcome back into town. You were gone for a week.
Yeah, I was actually, I got a little family vacation with a bunch of buddies at the beach in Florida. I was able to sit around and drink a bunch of beer and play some board games. It was great. Yeah. Doesn't happen that often.
Did you take all of your beer to the beach?
We did take a lot. We had 10 adults, so we took about 8 cases, and that seemed to be about right.
Okay.
We grabbed a little bit, some local stuff, but not too much. We I think a ton of Mostly Harmless. That's my go-to all day, so we were sitting on the beach drinking cans of that.
I have to go ahead and mention this. My wife never listens to the show because she hears enough of me in real life, but Mini Boss is her new favorite beer of all time.
All right, that's great.
She's been hurt a few times in the past. She had a couple of beers that she loved, and then they discontinued. She had one discontinued, then she was heartbroken. I was like, that just kind of happens, you know. And it was an out-of-state beer.
And it'll never happen again.
Yes, now it won't. But it was. She's found her true love. But you know, she was hurt, and so it took her a little bit. But then she's like,
to love again.
Yeah, she didn't want to open herself up, but now
we've all gone through that.
But now it's constant, and every time I look in our refrigerator, a new 6-pack, and I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
That's great. No, that's definitely a staff favorite around here. Mini Boss is our double dry hopped IPA with Citra and Mosaic and fruity tropical, not too bitter. Yeah, we've been really. It's cool to see that we started canning it in the fall, and it's a different audience in cans. And we weren't sure people drinking these big aggressive IPAs, but It's kind of a subtle bitterness in that beer, and it helps, I think, soften it a little bit. We get a lot of, well, that's not awful. I'm like, well, cool, because
That's a weird
people have had
compliment.
an IPA, maybe one that they was a very bitter beer, and some are, and they're maybe not as familiar with some of the newer styles, and it's not a super like hazy, crazy low bitter. It's kind of in that mid range, but say it's a West East Coast, kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, like a Houston
A third coast.
IPA.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not an official. People have tried to.
I think that's been tried. I've seen it at least on the copy of a few cans. I don't know.
I'll go with it.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
If it means a delicious beer, I'm all for it. Whatever. But no, it's I would love to just as a palate exercise in tasting, just to get all the Houston IPAs kind of side by side and just kind of see. I don't, because you never really know like the differences in the beer until you do try them side by side. Even like in house, like you've got a few IPAs or whatever. It's like, what's the difference? And then
no, it's important. And a style like an IPA can mean a whole lot of different things. It can be is it a session IPA like Founders All Day? Is it something like Alyssa from St. Arnold that's kind of this West Coast, super cascadey, very grapefruity? Is it something like Hetty Topper or Houston Haze? I mean, those are all IPAs, and you would not confuse those beers if you had them next to each other.
Yeah, they don't look alike. They don't taste alike.
Yeah.
They're not identical cousins. They are, I don't know. What was that show? No, not Mary Tyler Moore. The one where they were identical cousins. You know, they're cousins.
Man, now you're missing
Nick
me.
at Night? You didn't watch Nick at
I did not. We didn't have cable growing up.
who was
Mary
that?
Kate and Ashley? I don't know.
No, way early. This is black and white. This was came on in between My Three Sons and whatever, Mr. Ed. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm going to be not of much help there.
They were cousins that were identical, and I don't know that anybody put it together that there's probably something else going on. I don't remember. I'll think of not Mary Tyler Moore. Anyway, I could look it up, but we'll just let that sit out there.
No, that's a cool idea, though, to get a bunch of IPAs together. I wouldn't doubt if some of the beer groups have gotten together and done that, some of the tasting groups. And we've done some. We've got pretty common to have 5 or 6 IPAs on tap at the brewery. And one day, I think we had 7, and I was like, that is not a very diverse beer menu. If someone walks in and they're looking for something, and we try to have a few other styles, but when you see that many of one, we actually did a flight, sat down and tried them, and we were happy with that they were different enough.
Yeah.
We had a 9%, very kind of aggressive. We had Space Train, which is our very kind of almost session IPA, and a few in between. And there were some were a little similar, but we were really happy with how different they were, considering they all could be next to each other on a flight.
Speaking of, what smell did we just get hit with?
We got hit with probably, I'm guessing, grain out, or we just started knocking out, looks like we are knocking out Mini Boss into one of the fermenters. So that's that first little runoff down the drain.
Smells good.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't smell over your earbuds.
Yeah, I think they're working on that.
Put one right up your nostril. That would be weird. I would do it.
Yeah.
I would try it.
Probably a lot of people would.
I just wonder how long it'll take them to dial that in.
A while.
And how many careers would be ruined because they got the wrong smell with the wrong show. You know? It's like you were watching you were smelling Dirty Jobs, but you were listening to this.
Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty accurate. A lot of the smells of the brewery, there are some amazingly pleasant ones, and there are some that are a little less so.
What's the worst? Like rotten grain?
Spent grain is generally not ideal. This time of year it's warm, and we have barrels that seal, but if we have a half barrel and say we go 2-3 days without brewing, so we'll open up that barrel to fill it first, and it's something. It really is an aroma. No, that's why when you're brewing, you don't want a big, heavy meal. You want to keep the stomach nice and light in case you get a whiff of something like that.
Worse, half barrel in the July or August Houston for 3 days, or a garbage can full of old dirty diapers that you came back to, like you forgot to take out or something.
I'm gonna say diapers are definitely worse. Maybe just because the grain's part of the job, so you just suck it up and do it. But having a kid and those surprise aromas that pop up every once in a while are it's something.
You got another on the way, right?
Yeah, I got one that's will turn 3 in August, and another girl coming in August as well. So
awesome. I'm a fan of having a house full of girls because I do, and if I wasn't, life would be super difficult. We're to the point now we're doing like basketball and stuff. So finally, stuff I actually
That's awesome.
know something about.
Yeah.
So we've done a basketball league so far, undefeated, 2-0.
2-0.
The Bulls.
Straight to the championship.
Yeah. Well, the coach's daughter's really, really good. So
Yeah.
she could probably win 1-on-5, but
That's kind of how that works usually.
yeah, we're getting carried to the title.
Yeah.
It's fine. They won their last game like 32-2.
Yeah.
But
I think when I was like 8 years old and playing Pee Wee football, we had the running back, and he was really quick and pretty good. And I don't think anyone else knew what they were doing, but the whole I think maybe 2 passes in a season. It was just give it to him and let him outrun everybody else.
like Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, yes, he was the Bo Jackson, just running circles around. So,
Just keep running, man.
yeah,
I did that on Joe Montana 94 one time. Just,
I remember you could run literally laps
yes,
around
I
that.
did do that. I did it
Yeah.
on a 15-minute quarter. I went all the way, and I 4 plays. It was, it was an accomplishment that I hold dear to this day. I missed that game though.
Sports talk football, and I remember that the technology was amazing.
That was the first one. 94.
You could say things like touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That was really it.
The
I
only
think.
name was Montana.
Yeah.
Everybody, the quarterback. The quarterback gets the ball. And they would try to like do play. Like if you did that lap thing,
Yeah.
he would say something every like 2 minutes.
Still running.
He could go.
Still running.
Still running. Yeah. You could hear the magazine paper flipping because he was reading. But anyway, the beer in front of us.
Yeah, we're drinking beer.
Not a lot of purple beers in the world.
No, there are definitely not. So the beer we were drinking is called Lavender Bunny. It's a beer we did for Pride, and it was something we thought about. We've got a good friend that's very involved in that community and wrote for Outsmart, and just kind of approached us about trying to get together to do something. Weren't sure what, and our sales team and Leah, one of our sales reps, she had the idea to kind of partner up with some accounts and see if we can drum up some support and ask and reach out to all these accounts. Hey, if you guys keep some beer on tap, we donate $1 every time you sell it back towards like the Pride Association, Houston Pride Association. And yeah, the accounts were all totally on board. They were reaching out to us to be a part of it, and it was really cool to see that. But along that way, instead of we want to do something special, we came up with the idea to do a beer with some lavender, which has a lot of significance in that community. And this being the 50th year of the Stonewall riots, we thought it'd be kind of a cool way to partner up and do something really unique. We took Buckle Bunny, the base beer, and then we fermented it with lavender flower and butterfly pea flower. And the butterfly pea flower actually gives it a lot of this kind of really cool, almost neon purple color.
Yeah. So what is that?
It's a flower. You see it a lot in tea, I think, in Asia.
Okay.
Maybe not a lot, but I've seen it some. And it's popped up, I think, in the cocktail world a little bit. People using it. And the tea is really neat. If you make a tea with it, and it's usually blended with a few others, it's pretty mellow by itself, a little earthy, a little floral, but pretty mild, the flower itself. But if you make a tea with it, and then a little spritz of lemon or something acidic, and it brightens up. It goes from this kind of soft blue to this bright purple. So it's a really cool science experiment for kids to do, or adults. We got a kick out of it, showing some of our team. And the beer is just acidic enough where we sat it on the flowers for a few days and it was able to extract enough of that out.
How much of this did you make?
Not much. So we just did one batch of Buckle Bunny, and it was draft only, or Lavender Bunny. And basically, I think we started delivering a week ago, and it's out at most. It's pretty much most accounts are already out.
Yeah.
I think we're on our last keg here at the brewery. So not much. It was very limited. The response was really cool. I think aesthetically, it's unique.
Yes.
I think last time I was on, we were talking about glitter beer. So we're always up for doing something really dumb and fun. If we think that it kind of gets people joking and giggling and getting together to have a beer.
Yeah.
And it's just something really cool. We think it's just different. And I've seen a few other beers since then. We started really looking into this only a couple months ago, and I've seen a few people do some cool stuff with it.
How much of the purple pea flower, or what is it?
Butterfly pea flower.
Butterfly pea.
I hadn't heard of it until 6 months ago.
How much of that did you have to put into this?
Oh man,
total.
So 30 barrel, maybe like 12 kilograms, 10 kilograms, a decent amount.
Did they look at you funny when they made that delivery, or did you have to go pick it up?
No, we were able to find a spot online to sell enough, but it was harder than we thought because a lot of times it's sold in like a little tea packet, like you're going to make, I don't know, 10 cups of tea at the house. And we were trying to do, I don't know, 1,000 gallons of something. So it wasn't quite off the shelf like maybe we thought it would be, but it went really cool. And it turned out it's got a very soft lavender. It's not, we say, like grandma's soap.
Yeah.
A lot of people concerned when they hear lavender, they're thinking, yeah, potpourri or that very kind of, I don't know. It's a unique sensory experience when you use soap, I don't know, 30 years ago that wasn't Irish Spring or anything like that. And it's got that, it's very memorable. We try to keep it pretty mellow and subtle for that. But it's still there, and it adds this, it's a very floral, very earthy, and almost like this light, I say, cinnamon spice thing.
Something, yeah. Yeah, I dig it. I could, I mean, Buckle Bunny is one of those beers you could drink on all day anyway.
Yeah.
And then make it purple, and then you're thinking, like, I wonder if I'm going to pee purple.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not.
That's
Same
too
thing.
bad.
Yeah, you didn't poop glitter when we did it either.
No.
So that's,
Yeah.
We're trying. We'll keep trying dumb stuff until something works.
Orange glittery poo,
Yeah.
unicorn poo would be fantastic. And then pee purple, like a rainbow in the toilet, would be pretty fantastic. I think, maybe.
I don't know. I think a doctor would not be happy with us.
I mean, if it was just aesthetic, obviously we don't want, whatever. It might be worth it, though. Anyway. But, it's good. I like it. I mean,
so something fun. And we thought it was really cool. And when you get a chance to partner up, I mean, one of the best parts about being a part of the brewery is just the people we get to work with. So friends and just people we've met that come to us with ideas and partnerships. And we don't always have the opportunity to really like take something on, but this was something we were passionate about, and a lot of our team was behind, and the community was really responsive. It was just really cool to be a part of it, to help drive something like this.
Would you ever be open to do a podcast inspired beer, like beer that was that had to listen to podcasts for
you just have it aging in the tank with listening
speaker,
to I think someone did that with Wu-Tang, and
I'm sure it would tasted amazing.
It wasn't anything to mess with. So I'm sure. I think there was a paper like ultrasonic vibrations will help aging process. I mean, there's a little truth to something like that, but I don't think a speaker in a barrel is saving you a whole lot of time.
I wonder if the topic would matter.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like
NPR, you get a nice mellow like red wine flavor out of.
If it's an inspirational podcast, it's like I don't know, gives it like has the same effects as ginseng or something.
Yeah,
energy and clarity of mind. If it was one of those murder mystery, it leaves you feeling all angst or worried or something. I don't know. Anyway, well, it's a thought. It's a thought to make me mull over.
Yeah,
some podcast inspired beer. I think podcasts are just better with a beer in your hand.
Yeah.
So I like that. But collaborations y'all been doing, a number of them. Real Ale was a
a couple. No, it's one of those things. It's one of those fun things about talking about people we get to partner up with and work with, or collaborations, and getting to find people that we really respect in the industry and get a chance. So yeah, we did one with Holler last year. We brewed at Real Ale a few weeks ago. We did a hoppy wheat wine called Full Tilt Boogie.
When is that? Is that out yet?
I believe it's first week of July. So
it's kind of a big beer, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna, I think, just over 10% with Citra and Amarillo. Kind of a weird beer, and we joked when we got together. I've known those guys for a long time, and they've supported us and really helped us with a lot of questions we had when we were starting up. And I love their beer. I mean, Hans Pils is constantly in my fridge. I think it's just a hoppy Pilsner is something I absolutely love. And we were chatting about ideas, like, I want to do a Dunkel or like something clean, maybe a slightly hoppy German Helles. And then I had, as a home brewer, had done a wheat wine one time. And it was like, that was a weird beer. It was kind of fun. And I had it on the list of ideas. It was like, I'm sure you guys don't even want to mess with something like this. And they're like, yeah, 100%. So these breweries that make all these sessionable, crushable beers, and we're just going to do some 10% big monster.
What's the ratio of wheat to?
I think we were 51% wheat, which I know when we brewed on their pilot system, they've got a beautiful brewery, and it has this amazing pilot system that ties into the utilities and can really replicate what their big system does. It was really cool. I think when we were scaling up the recipe, they got it was a little nervous. So we used some rice hulls, which are a way to help make sure the grain's going to move through. Since wheat doesn't have holes on it, it tends to kind of glump up, kind of solidify, and can kind of make the brew day a mess. So we did use a little bit of rice hulls, but They also said it was the most full the Lauderton had been with grain. So I pointed pride on that. They were kind of pushing limits and kind of doing something. And I think that's the point of a collaboration, is to maybe do something that we wouldn't do on our own. I mean, we could go there and brew a cool pale ale, or we could come here and they could brew a really great lager. But I think neither of us were probably going to do a hoppy wheat wine on our own. So it was one of those like, yeah, that's cool. Let's get together and how can we make this unique? And instead of doing 20% wheat, we were like 51. It's the majority of what's going in there. And it turned out really cool.
Are they going to package it?
It's going to be kegs. So there are some events coming up, I believe, and I can, double check, but I know it's the first or second week of July, and we've got events all week. I know there's some at Conservatory and the Flying Saucer and a few others around town. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, Full Tilt Boogie, no idea how that name came to be. I think we were maybe playing pinball with one of their sales reps, or I'm not sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, July's next week.
Yeah, so we're really good about brewing these monster 10% beers in the middle of summer and coming out with a nice 4% in December. So
they work. They work when you pick your spots like that. Like you kind of ready yourself for it. Like I don't know that you'd want to sit there and on Saturday I mowed the yard at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, probably not.
I lost. Okay, so I don't know. I like to weigh myself before and after I mow just to kind of see. And after I'd had 2 waters and 2 beers. After I'd mowed, I'd still had lost 8 pounds. So I was like, man, I should have weighed myself before I drank all that other.
Yeah.
I'd been double digits easy. But
stay hydrated.
Typically, I go with a Goza for my after mowing beer, and I may even do one between the front and the back because I was like, you need those electrolytes.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And
we've seen these like health beers starting to show up, and there's some with agave and tamarind, and these are like anti-inflammatories. It's interesting. I mean, and as people are becoming more conscious and their beer drinking and what that looks like.
I'm sure it has some benefits on some micro nano scale.
Yeah, probably.
My fingernails are a little heftier,
a little
shinier, something. I don't know. But yeah, all we had in the fridge was like a 7% IPA, and after on the second one, it was a bit much.
A bit much, yeah.
So, but because we've only got one tree in the back, and so it's so small, I have to like push my Adirondack up under there and just kind of lay out there. But anyway, I could have done a big beer maybe afterward to replenish all those lost nutrients.
There you go. Yeah.
I do find that a Goza in between the front and the back gives me a little more energy.
Probably. I think there's something about that. A little bit of, a little sugar rush, or
I think the
tartness.
Alcohol kind of gives you a little it's just a little.
Yeah.
Not too much, but just a little kind of pushes you along. Right.
And I remember when we were building out the brewery, we were doing demo in the summer. It's kind of June, July, August. There was 3 months of demo in this space. It used to be this monster cooler, and Stiegel Radler was a lifesaver. Yeah. Because you'd have these 12, 14-hour days, and 8-9 hours in the day, man, I could really go for a beer, but didn't really need much. So 2%, it's kind of sweet. It's just man, we drink a ton of those. And that's why we actually offer a kind of house-made shandy called Bunny Squirt. So we use a Mexican squirt and Buckle Bunny and mix them together. It's got a little bit of tartness from the grapefruit and just super drinkable.
I thought about Buckle Bunny the other day. My girls were looking for something to watch. I was like, we have Hulu. I was like, hey, check this out. It's King of the Hill. Well, 2 episodes in, and they're hooked. Yeah. And now they've been watching it. I think I don't know how many seasons there are, but there's like
13, 14?
There's like 24 episodes per season.
Yeah.
So they're in it deep. They're on like season 5 now. And like one of the older twin, she talks like Boomhauer all the time.
All right.
She's pretty spot on. But there was the episode where Bobby was the cowboy, or the clown, the rodeo clown. And he's like, I'll be your Buckle Bunny anytime.
Yeah, Joseph running around. We've had a few people call us out on that a little bit. Yeah, Joseph's winning the buckles and giving them to Bobby.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, Buckle Bunny. I remember that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, there's a Brooks and Dunn song that comes on every once in a while on our playlist. It's got that, and everyone gets a good little chuckle out of it.
Yeah, no, but that's a really... Yeah, I mean, if I were going to go to the rodeo, they need to have, like, Houston Rodeo needs to have Buckle Bunny just...
Everywhere. It was on tap this year, so we did have one tap. That was one more than last year. So we're slowly building it.
We were at Minute Maid too.
And we're at Minute Maid, for the Astros. We've got it at Torchy's Bar, and then
is that come through Torchy's? Because to me that seems like that kind of cements you in as a like Houston. Like people come in from out of town, like people that aren't necessarily like huge beer nerds like we are. They see, this is a Houston beer, cool. Let's
Yeah, no, it's, part of it's through Torchy's, and now we're in a few other locations as well, and so it's through some of the vendors over there, and it's definitely a complicated process to get going, but no, we're really excited to get there, and it's just, it's fun, and when we go to games, we get to take buddies, or our sales team will take some people and hang out, and just being able to go have one of our beers.
Have you had sweet yet?
No, almost, yeah. So that's a hard no.
The Eureka Suite. That would be... How would you decorate it? Would you just like over the top, like, I don't know, like if I were at the point where I had my own suite at Minute Maid, I would
just denim everywhere, probably. Yeah,
just denim couch, denim chairs, denim bar,
all denim all the time.
Yeah, even around the TV, even the monitors would have little, what are those little gold little things, rivets,
yeah,
I like it. I'd do it. I'd be like, Jay Leno would be like drawn to it.
He does have the Canadian tuxedo, huh?
Yeah, he's a big proponent. Y'all should reach out.
Yeah, what's he up to nowadays?
I think
he's driving cars.
Yeah, he's got 1 million cars. That guy's got the life. I mean, he's made $1 billion.
Yeah,
and he has no real responsibilities anymore. He just kind of calls on shots. Seems like a very likable guy.
Yeah,
loves denim.
Mostly loves denim.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like he would be right at home here.
Yeah, he would fit in. We'll shoot him an invite to our next party.
Hit him up on Twitter.
Yeah.
He probably, I don't know. He's on Twitter, I'm sure. I don't know where I was going to go after that. But no, Minute Maid Park, that's really, really cool.
It's kind of been fun as we've gotten a little bigger and a little more volume. Is kind of we need to make sure we keep up with when we go into Minute Maid. That's one of their things, that you need to make sure that we have beer when they ask for it.
Yeah.
So it took a little while, and but it's been great. It's definitely fun. Yeah, going there with friends or and buddies text me probably once or twice a week, like, "Oh, I found your beer." Or, did you know your beer's at Minute Maid? I'm like, yes, I'm very aware.
Oh, really?
Like, it took a lot of effort and time.
Yeah.
But no, it's been neat. Definitely that exposure thing, and it's cool to go there. And I think they've done a really good job focusing on like craft beer as well, because as the industry's grown and consumers obviously are drawn towards it, that St. Arnold bar that they put in, I mean, it's amazing. And I think that really they saw how people were drawn towards that, and they wanted to support local, and it made it worthwhile for them to actually have a few others. And you've seen, I think, Eighth Wonder is on tap there. I think Spindle Tap, probably a couple others as well.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see that.
It makes sense. I mean, it just fits. Like, I mean, I understand the macro stuff, but I always thought it would be cool if like a baseball stadium had its own brewery in house, and they would do like collaboration beers with the local breweries. I don't know what the logistics and the legalities of that kind of thing are, but
you can do it. Well, I think it's can you afford to put one in a baseball stadium? So I mean, but the Sandlot up in Denver, so they actually have a brewery, and that's where Blue Moon originated from. It was actually brewed at the stadium through Miller, and then I believe the new Rangers Stadium, they're putting in a Revolver brewery, at least right next to it, if not in the stadium.
Yeah.
Again, their budgets are a little different, Miller's than ours, but maybe a little single A team. We could have our homebrew setup. We will over there or something.
What are the Skeeters, maybe?
Skeeters, still might be a little big for her britches, but no, I think it's really cool that they're just willing to support that. And I remember going to a game in Seattle probably 6-7 years ago, and there was a ton of craft beer there. And obviously they're kind of maybe a little ahead of that curve, but I think you're starting to see that at all the different stadiums. That's higher quality food. I mean, you can go get just a hot dog, but you can go get a really good hot dog or sausage or a great burger now. It might be a $17 burger, but they at least have good food options, and I think that beer goes hand in hand with that people are willing to maybe that higher quality product a little bit.
It is a little pricey, but when you're there, you're like, I'm gonna forget, who cares, I'm just gonna
it's part of it, so I don't think that you're just aware of it.
I've always thought that if I one day when I win the lottery and buy the Astros, I would put a brewery in Minute Maid.
I think we need to win multiple lotteries to buy the Astros.
Well,
or one really, really big one.
I think it's funny now when I see the billboard for the lottery, and it's like, oh, that's only $50 million. I'm not even.
Why bother?
I'm not even going to bother with that.
It's
not even triple
really
digits.
Get out of bed.
It's like, ugh. What are you trying to do, Texas Lotto? But that form of gambling, and this is a segue, and it's going to be a very roundabout thing, but it's that form of gambling is legal. One form of gambling that not legal yet, but maybe in the near future, sportsbook here in Texas.
Yeah.
But that's going to have to wait another session. But one thing that didn't have to wait till another session, brewery laws, distribution laws,
Yeah.
beer to go is legal now.
Yeah.
Is this this maybe the first InterBrews podcast since it's officially been
2
signed?
weeks ago it was signed, maybe a week and a half ago. I mean, not that long, yeah.
It's been 2 weeks since we did an episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of slower summer schedule here on the relaxed. But, yeah, beer to go is legal. That's
yeah.
awesome.
No, it's great. I mean, the fact that we were able to get something through like that really, I think, levels the playing field for a lot of people in Texas. And so generally there's 2 licenses. You can either be a manufacturing brewery or a brew pub. That's based on size, distribution, a few other things like location. And so now it kind of just makes that open for everybody to kind of maybe have a little more flexibility in how they want to run their business, that maybe they can grow when they weren't planning on it. Maybe they can open up in a certain county that wasn't going to allow a brew pub permit but might allow a brewery permit. Because with the state, every county, every city, they all might have their own preferences. Different school districts, like Holler Brewing, I believe, is just a little too close to a school, so they're licensed as a manufacturer. Just kind of the subtleties of how you have to pull permits, and because of that, they weren't able to sell beer to go. And now they will be able to. Yeah. And, I mean, it's huge. It's a way for people to experience your beer, and if they're at your brewery and having a good time and they buy a crowler to go, then they're going to go share that. I mean, if you buy a growler or a crowler, it's 32 or 64 ounces. Like, it's generally not a single serving by yourself. I mean, maybe some nights, but that's usually you're going to go share that. You're going to go split with buddies and talk and hang out, and I think that's really cool, just that everyone's going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Now, there's limits on it. Like, could I get a keg to go?
So from a brew pub, you can. Okay. Under the new law with a brewery, you would not be able to. I believe there's a limit. I think it's a case a day is what it finalized out, and maybe 2 cases, but somewhere right around there. So, yeah, a little bit of limitations, and I think that's based on ounces. So a case of 16-ounce beers would be a little different than a case of 12. So there's some subtleties that we're going to have to figure out, I think, how they work. But
and do you have to check? I wonder if you have to have like a. I mean, how do you know if somebody came in? Like, could a husband and wife come in and each buy?
So yeah, I believe it's individual each day, per day per individual. So someone came by on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they could buy that limit each day.
Okay.
And a case of beer is a lot of beer.
Yes.
So that's plenty. When we have people here, they're usually grabbing a crowler, so it's 32 ounces. So. And I think a case is a whole lot. I mean, that happens maybe once a month for us, if that.
Well, if you're in the plot of a, hijinks filled, movie where they're on a road trip trying to get beer from one place to another, you may need to get more cases. So how would they go about getting that? There'd be mustaches.
Yeah, disguises. Yeah, people going in the back of the line.
Guys with beards and dresses.
Yeah, top hats probably.
Yeah, monocles, of course. Yeah.
It's like getting the free samples at Costco. You just keep grabbing a different disguise and going back.
From their rack.
Yeah.
So, try this on. Come out. Totally different dude.
But no, there's definitely just the fact that happened, and that's probably the single most substantial thing to happen in the industry in probably 6 years since 2013, and be able to sell beer at a brewery. Before that, you had to give it away and sell a tour. But it also changed some things, being able to warehouse beer out of the county it's brewed. So for a self-distributing brewery or a brewery looking to expand different territories, you couldn't do that before, or you had to shuttle in beer like 512 shuttles in beer every day to Houston when they deliver. So they got to drive it from Austin.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge, and it's just like a headache, and it's expensive. So if they can maybe open a warehouse here, or maybe someone that's looking in San Antonio can go open a warehouse there, it gives them a lot more flexibility.
Sounds like a business opportunity waiting.
Yeah, I think for some people, there's other challenges with it, but I mean, that was something that no one thought was probably going to happen. And the beer ale, there's 2 different licenses based on how much alcohol you have in your product. and that's going to be consolidated. Some label stuff. So really, it's going to make life a whole lot easier for breweries, and just give them more flexibility, because now that we've got over 200 breweries in Texas, and everyone's model's different. I mean, our business model is different than somebody else's, and and we want to run things differently. And if our license prohibits that, it can be a challenge and a little bit of a headache, or maybe push you in a direction that wasn't organic or that you didn't want to go. And I think now there's just more flexibility in what to do.
Yeah, it's, you hit on the personality. It amazes me. Like, even though there's only 2 different licenses, there's the personalities between every brewery in Houston is different.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if they have the same size brew house or what, everything is so different. Like, when people say, "Oh, we're near a bubble," I was like, I've not seen any replication of really anything. They might even be brewing the same styles, like their 5 core beers or whatever. They're all different. It's personalities are big.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah. You look at, I mean, Sigma, Belson, St. Arnold, Brash, Astral, True Anomaly. Like, I don't think anyone's confusing them with us or them with anybody else, because there's people have done a good job carving out their niche, and I think that's great. The industry needs that, because if you start looking too similar, that's when you can have consumer confusion, and people might start talking about that. It's a bubble, but no, there's room for a lot more still.
Yeah, I don't see any indication that there's I wouldn't even call it a bubble. I would just call this more of just a correction over the last 20 years. Like, we should have had breweries all along, and it's been really exciting to watch it come along, because and it's interesting, because when I go back and I was listening to part of our first episode, and those first episodes with somebody, it's always a little awkward. I mean, it's just you're first getting to know somebody. So, what are they really trying to do with their brewery? I mean, I don't know that you've had it figured out.
No, we still don't.
But when you look at it now, when somebody says, tell me about Eureka Heights, like, okay, here's the idea. Here's, try this beer. They've got do these events, and they have their tap room is like, I mean, it's cool to see how you guys have grown and matured, or however you want to call it. I don't know. When I look at you,
matured, probably the wrong word.
So it didn't quite get the
grown.
idea. Yes, you're bigger.
I'm bigger than I was when I started the brewery. Yeah,
but it's like 2, 3. That's a significant, a huge time.
Yeah, we're coming up on our 3rd anniversary in August. It was August 3rd, 2016. We sold our first keg, and so it's not that far away. And it kind of snuck up on us. We're talking like, oh yeah, we got to plan a party and other stuff, and. It's been cool to see the industry grow, and I think when we wrote our business plan, 2014. I think there was 5 breweries in Houston. Brash had just opened, and so now to look and you see these pockets pop up and these areas. We've got, I think, New Magnolias going in like 2 blocks from us, just not too far from here, and you see all the guys up in Garden Oaks with Brash and Walking Stick and Great Heights, and I mean. It's been cool to see these little neighborhoods pop up and support that too. And you're seeing that down by Holler with the new Buffalo Bayou project going in. And I think Urban South out of Louisiana is moving, opening a tap room here. So it's been cool to see those little pockets pop up.
Yeah, even south of town, which you've got 3 or 4 breweries pretty close.
Yeah.
Actually, you've got like 6 that are within probably 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Houston, 30 minutes is just a normal drive.
Yeah.
I just, which is funny when I talk to people not in Houston, but it's I mean, that's the thing I love the most is the pockets. You can go in town, but you get a completely different experience in a different area, and you can try a bunch of different breweries. And yes, I think that's one of my favorite things.
No, that's good.
So anyway, I got an empty glass.
All right, we better fix that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh yeah, this is where I was gonna try to work on being subtle, and so people wouldn't even notice, but failed again.
By saying you have an empty glass, is that subtle?
Well, yes. Well, no, I mean like when I pause it. I wasn't going to mention the pause, but I failed.
It's all right.
All right.
Well, you'll get better next time.
Podcasts. Listen to anything interesting lately? Hearing, like on your trip, long road trip?
There's a podcast called Reply All. They say internet culture, but it's not really. It's kind of just 2 guys who are kind of plugged into internet culture, how it works, and they do some of very off the wall, so it doesn't make sense. Like they say IT support, but someone called in one time and they were asking about this weird phone call they would get, and they would get a phone call, pick up, and it almost sounded like whispers, like someone just very distant, but it was like a conversation, almost like a butt dial. And it would happen again and again and again, and they're like, what is going on? And they like go through the process of figuring out like what's going on, and turns out like if you dial a 1-800 number, every like I don't know, signal or channel or tower it goes through gets like a 0.00001 cent. So like some people had figured out how to game this system where they would have like these auto dialers calling 1-800 numbers and routing them through their own towers that they owned as a way to like basically like office space to get these like rounding errors and eventually like make enough money,
like Superman 3.
Yeah, so that was it. Like, and it was an hour of them like figuring out and talking to people and what it is, and it's just fascinating. I think people who can turn that could have been like a 1-minute explanation like I did, which wasn't good, or it can be like a riveting hour-long podcast. And people who can tell a story and actually like, I guess are good at that whole journalism thing, not just talking about beer. Yeah,
there's a lot of different, variations on the podcast, like the drama. There's like drama podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't listen to any, but I'm sure it would be great if I got into something.
Yeah, there's some that are it's like the old radio shows where they're like stories and sound effects and stuff now. And that's really cool. I do some comedy ones. Comedy Bang Bang's a huge like favorite of mine. It's just off the wall improv, and sometimes I am just laughing my ass off. Sometimes like this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I don't know like when I start the podcast which way it's going to go.
Right.
But I kind of like that the journey a little bit.
Yeah, and then you got somebody like Bill Burr who's just funny. Yeah. But he's just by himself, and it's like to listen to somebody by themselves, just say something, and then he gets away from the mic, and it's just. I don't know. I find all that fascinating, and I don't know. It's just interesting how everything's changed so much. You talk about the old radio shows, and like, no one listens to radio anymore. Yeah. And now it's podcasts.
No, it's pretty rare. I mean, I've got maybe once or twice a week in my car I might throw on the radio, but usually I get in and I pull out, and it's mostly either podcast or Spotify immediately on my phone, and kind of just that built-in routine, because if I flip on the radio and there's a couple of different commercials on a few of the stations, I'm like, well, all right, I'm just going to find something.
Yeah, but you can listen to InterBrews on Spotify.
Ooh, on Spotify, yeah.
You can subscribe today if you'd like, or anywhere else find our podcasts, or download, streamed, and listen to.
You have a favorite podcast app?
I just use the one on my iPhone. I mean, it works. And when I get in my car, it automatically turns on.
Okay.
So,
yeah. It's like you're in the future.
Yeah. The future's nice. Yeah. It's there's a lot of beer there, and the audio's great. You know what I do a lot of times though? I'll watch, like when I'm eating before I leave for work, I'll watch something on YouTube. And since I've got unlimited data, I'll just play it on YouTube, and I won't watch it when I drive, but just play it off of YouTube.
Listen to it.
Yeah. So, like, especially like Joe Rogan, like that's a 3-hour journey.
Oh boy, yeah.
And so I'll watch the first part while I'm eating my lunch.
Okay.
And then I'll leave for work, and I'll listen to it for the 30-40 minutes while I'm driving, and then maybe watch it on my lunch break or something. So it's like an all day.
Yeah, so it's one podcast by the end of the week. You can get through most of it.
Yeah. It's about it. But if it's a really, like, he's all over the map. And he's got, sometimes it's very interesting, and sometimes it's stuff I just do not.
Yeah, I think he gets 32 hours of content every day he makes. Something like that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's on another level. But speaking of another level, there's a transition. This beer, this is Mini Boss with jalapeno and pineapple and the margarita mix from
Bravado Spice. So this is a beer we did last weekend. We called a weenie roast. So we wanted to do a big summer party. We're thinking, what can you do? We're a big, empty, hot warehouse without air conditioning, and thought we might as well embrace that. So we had a barbecue truck out here serving dollar hot dogs all day. We had frozen bunny squirts, which is buckle bunny with grape soda, or not grape soda, with squirt soda, grapefruit soda mixed together. We did kind of think of some other beers. So yeah, Bravado Spice, they're a local spice company, make absolutely killer stuff. Mostly hot sauces, but they've started to get in some margarita mix. So they gave us some last time we worked together, and
it smells amazing.
Yeah,
like the aroma of this beer is, I can't quite. I mean, you get jalapeno for sure. Jalapeno has a distinct aroma, but it's not overly and I got a little spice there. Like right now. Here's a funny story. Just because it was on my nose, and so now I have to tell you about this. I got some habaneros. We like when in the morning for breakfast. It's always sausage crumbles, and then like the fajita peppers and onion mix.
Yeah.
And then I get some habaneros and dice them up real small and put just a little bit in there, just for I love the flavor, and then it gives you the heat though. And so I had my daughters each try like a little like minced little bitty bite.
Yeah.
But it's still a habanero.
Yeah.
So the twins tried it. They're 10, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty spicy, and they're running around being silly. And my 12-year-old, I guess we've gotten into being a 12-year-old girl. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to just let that one hang out there. But she tried it, and then she touched her nose, and so her nose was burning, and so she's weeping as she's walking around the house. And my wife's like, put some sour cream on it.
Okay.
So I look over there, and she's in the kitchen wiping sour cream on her nose and just weeping. It was just a really funny thing to watch.
Does the sour cream help?
I don't know, but it made me laugh.
It has like peanut butter with gum in your hair. Like this, I don't think that actually does anything. But
I think it was just some jerk trying to say, you should put some peanut butter in there and see what happens. So my wife was I don't know. She saw us laughing at her, and then she stopped crying and started laughing because it was really funny.
At that point,
sour cream. I guess it worked. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was really funny. But she was literally like, it was one of those things where she started crying, and she couldn't stop crying, or decided not to stop crying, and just like flailing around.
Yeah.
12-year-old girl style. That's going to be my life, like all the time. Soon, like the 10-year-olds are almost there.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. That's
Girls
exciting.
are great. Girls are great. I don't understand them, but they're great.
Yeah. Well, mine's not quite 3, but she's a blast. Yeah. She's climbing, jumping on everything.
Yeah.
She's not a very petite flower, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, mine aren't either, but it's just there's still something that's just so girly.
Yeah.
Like that I just can't. I can't even. I'm like y'all are like y'all are aliens to me. Yeah, and I do the same thing to them.
Yeah.
Like, why do you grunt so much, or why do you when you eat steak, why does it look like a dinosaur like tearing into something? Like that's how you eat. And they're like, I don't get it. But anyway, it's fun. So, but I'm sure I'll be well taken care of someday.
Yeah. Just lay that groundwork.
That's what I'm hoping for. But no, it's fun. Girls are great. I love having girls.
Yeah.
I don't understand them, but I love them. And they're fun. They're a lot of fun. I don't know what we're talking about. Let's talk about this beer. I don't understand this beer completely.
There we go.
So
segues. It's smooth today. We try to look at doing some one-off stuff occasionally, and
it's fantastic.
Whether that's something on the pilot system or that, it's just kind of blending this margarita mix and mini boss together for just one keg. It's there. It's gone. Usually within a day. We saved a little bit for an event tonight, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to have something like that on. Kind of summery. Mm-hmm. I like heat in the summer. I like spicy things.
Yeah, it kind of dances there in your throat. It's like, as it builds. It's
not over the top.
No.
But, and it actually makes killer margaritas too. If you just a little that with a little bit of tequila and a lime, and it's just absolutely killer.
What did they put spices in the margarita mix? Like
so it's pre-made mix. It's like a liquid. I think a 32 ounce, just like buying a bottle of margarita mix. It's just pre-mixed. Basically, mix it with tequila or whatever you want to mix with it. Ice, shake it, go, and you're good to go. Absolutely killer. I don't think they've had it out that long, and they just came out with a grapefruit one. But just one of those really cool local companies that's been great to partner up with and work with for some events and promotions. And we've done some vendors out here. They can swing by and sling some hot sauce. So I think those are symbiotic relationships. There are people making these cool flavors.
Yeah.
They do this blueberry ghost pepper that's absolutely killer on fajitas or flank steak. Like it's hot, but it's like sweet.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely killer. I haven't had anything like it before.
I think the fruit and the peppers are that's like the best combination.
Yeah, you find that balance, and they don't all work together.
Yeah.
When I saw ghost pepper, I was like, oh boy. But no, it wasn't like crazy. It wasn't too over the top.
Yeah.
And same thing with that. It's not vegetal. It's not like you get that bright jalapeno pepper, and then this kind of sweet pineapple on the back, and behind it's a kind of a fruity IPA that works well to kind of balance that out.
It's really, really good. Like, and as it has warmed up a little bit, you get a little more I don't know, maybe I'm warming up, but it's man, that's fantastic. Like, it's really, really nice.
It was fun. We did it they gave us some mix, and we were, I think, like, wow, we need to try it. We don't have any tequila around here, so we have beer. We just sipped on the mix. I was like, that's really good. And we tried it with a few different beers, just cutting and played with ratios, just as something for us to make randomly up here. And like, man, if we can get enough of this, yeah, we can do at least one keg.
I really it smells really good.
So, but that's a perk of having the tap room and being able to trial something like that. And we do that quite a bit. We try to always have one or two things here that are either one keg, maybe up to 10 kegs. And something.
How much did you just do? One keg?
That's one keg. Yeah.
Oh, man, thank you for letting me. That's fantastic.
No problem.
You're doing this again, right?
I don't know. What I mean, it was 2 days ago. I think so we're still trying to figure out. But we always do that. We talk to people. We get feedback from our bartenders. We get feedback from people in the tap room, and they'll tell us, and they're honest if they like something or not. But the perk of that is we get this feedback immediately, and they get to tell us like, oh boy.
So the event's tonight?
No, the event was last weekend, but we got a Blade Runner movie night tonight.
Okay.
We've got some. We wanted to keep a couple special beers on tap.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what's been how have people reacted to this when they've tried? I mean, I love that.
So hesitation is usually when people see spice in beer, and I get that. I've had some beers that are kind of holy cow over the top, and I think people always have that little trepidation, I guess. But I think it went over really well. And again, our team's good about if they're curious, like to give you a little sample, give you a little half ounce, and see if that's what you're really in the mood for or not.
The aroma on this, man, I just can't get over that.
So,
it smells so good.
Bravado Spice, you can find them in stores around Houston, probably. No, they're awesome local spice company. Definitely support. We think, hot sauce. They're as passionate about it as we are making beer. So it's been a good symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, I like that. I want some like cologne that smells like that. I want to smell like this beer.
I like hot food. I like spicy food in the summer. I like Thai food when it's warm out. I mean, I think something about that works really well. I mean, maybe it's just because it makes me want to drink a beer.
Yeah.
But I like a little bit of heat.
Yeah, that's a happy.
So one
place,
keg. So no one listening to this will ever get to try it.
You'll just have to take my word for it. It's great.
Maybe it didn't even exist. No one knows.
But maybe if you're listening to this podcast right before you fall asleep, and you're drifting off. Just dream about this beer. The jalapeno tickles your throat, and comes back, and then the pineapple kisses. That's the awful worst sound I've ever made in my life. Sorry about that. Drift off. But anyway, sweet dreams. Pineapple, jalapeno, hoppy, bubbly. It's just all so good. So good. That's good.
Got the commercial for it right
I know.
there.
I don't even want to finish the beer because I want it to stay.
To exist forever.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. That's really good. Really, what's the ABV on this?
No, that's 6. A little less because we blended it. It's probably about 6.2, 6.3 based on the ratio. So in that 6%, which helps balance out the heat. I think I've had some pepper beers, and some of the ones that are a little more maybe hot, a little less balanced, are generally low alcohol. But I've had some 6, 7, or 8% beers that have, and it feels like that alcohol because it actually does break apart.
Yeah.
Some of the spice kind of balances it out a little bit.
Yeah, there's a handful that I've really, really enjoyed. There's some, there's like jalapeno is one of those that's a tricky flavor because it can be so vegetal and green and too like a jalapeno potato chip kind of deal. But that with the fruit, man, that's everything. That's all good stuff right there.
No, we did a milk stout with cinnamon and cayenne. It's called Mu Caliente.
Yeah,
it was year round for a while. We kind of slowed down this summer. It'll come back in cans this winter. But we learned a lot when we were trying to work on that beer. It was just, we had the milk stout recipe down, the grains, the malt, the hops, that stuff, and we were really trying to figure out what spices. So we tried, habaneros. We tried all these different ones. We settled with cayenne. We thought it was a more consistent, a little earthier flavor, and it worked really well with the stout, that roasty chocolate. And then we found some cinnamon, and we actually blended 3 types of cinnamon, Vietnamese, Chinese, and oh man, it's been a while since we brewed it. And another one.
What'd you say?
Vietnamase, Chinese.
Is Vietnamese the same as the Saigon cinnamon?
Yeah, and then maybe Mexican. I'd have to go look at my brew sheet.
No, that sounds right. I think if I remember.
But it was, and they all worked and brought different things to it, and they all balanced out the cayenne really well. And it was one of those when we first released it too, like same thing, like it's a cayenne beer, like oh no, but it's a sweeter beer. It's a milk stout, so it's got a little bit of sugar left in it, and the roast and chocolate really there, so it turns into this Mexican hot chocolate thing, and that's kind of how we learned to pitch it to people, like and try a little bit. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Just like that, the mini boss with jalapenos and pineapple is not for everybody, but people who do love it really love it.
Yeah. Put me in that camp. I'm in this beer for president. This is the best candidate so far.
One of the 29
This was the best, though.
Yeah.
This one, I like the economic plan, tax structure, foreign policy, all of this right here. Just this has got my vote. That is really good.
So, no, and just fun to try that stuff. Yeah. And we get that shotgun approach a little bit. We have some ideas, throw them out there, and we'll try them in-house, and sometimes they work, sometimes not. Sometimes there's something cool there, and you can work over a few months or a year to like develop that recipe. And this is one we just kind of trialed. Like, I think that's pretty much it. Like, it's subtle, it's balanced, it's different, and throw it out there and see.
Okay. What any other ideas? Like, any other peppers you want to maybe try in this variation, or like
I have no idea.
Habaneros are good. Like,
we've played a little bit with that. Yeah, habaneros are awesome. I love them. The challenge is like they're so fruity and flavorful, but they're so hot.
Yeah.
So you really have to find some balance with them. Like cooking with them, you got to find that right dish, something with enough either fat or to find some balance. So we've played a little bit, but it's how do you get that to come through with not just melting your face off?
Yeah.
And we tried it with an Imperial IPA. We were test batching, and it just wasn't quite right. And I don't know if the world needs a whole lot more pepper beers either. I think there's a time and a place, and it's not something I don't think we get asked about a whole lot. They're fun to throw out there and see. So maybe it is something we continue to play with, but not like where we're focusing all of our energy.
What are people clamoring for? Just IPA, hazy IPAs all day, every day?
Hazy IPAs. We get asked a lot about sours, and just maybe that's the time of the year right now. It's definitely hot in Houston, and we don't have a hazy or a sour right now. That also might be why we noticed that. We get asked about a Pilsner quite a bit. We've got one out right now that's seasonally available in cans called Wow Factor. It's a hoppy Pilsner with Mandarin and Bavaria hops, so it's got this real citrusy taste. But it's just very traditional German Pilsner. I think those are the three that jump out. But IPAs, I mean, what IPAs do you have? It's become almost the staple when people walk in. Why we try to have 4, 5, 6, or 7 on tap, as long as they're different. And we've done a hazy a few times, and those go well, and people love that. There's definitely the people who drink a Pilsner, they want a Pilsner, and people who want a East Coast or a hazy IPA, they want a hazy IPA. I mean, that's the style they're drawn toward, their kind of preferred preference. So
IPAs are just good.
Yeah, and like I said, you can do so many different things with them. There's all these cool new hop varieties. As IPAs have become such this focus the last 5, 6 years in the industry that the farmers, the growers are actually responding. And man, there's some every kind of month you hear something about this really cool new hop variety that's got different flavor. There's one that was like straight coconut, and then like I don't know what you do with these, and maybe they won't really come to fruition and become the next big thing, but hops like Citra and Amarillo and Mosaic all started as little small ones, and you saw what people were able to do with them, and they've really taken off to be kind of the industry standard for IPAs now.
Do you have a favorite hop?
Citra is probably my favorite hop, which is probably a common answer. But when we launched, Mostly Harmless is our pale ale. It's all Citra hops with a little bit of German Vienna malt and then Kolsch's. So it's a sort of this German-American hybrid. It was what I would make at home as my lawnmower beer, my go-to. I always had it. Just super subtle, 4%, easy drinker. So that one, we use that hop in a lot. And Mini Boss, our IPA, is half Citra, half Mosaic. So that's a good go-to. But there's a few others. I think Centennial's just this workhorse. It's super grapefruity. Yeah. I still love West Coast IPAs and kind of those flavors. So I think that just works really well with a lot of those flavors.
Yeah. I'm going to ask. I'm going to pause here in a little bit.
All right.
And I'm going to ask you a couple different questions just for our Patreon subscribers. They get exclusive kind of things. But one of those questions, Bill, will be, what do you see on the horizon? Is there anything you see on the horizon? If so, what? As far as like trends or maybe styles that you see being kind of like, because I think it's safe to say that hazy IPA is no longer a trend.
No, yeah,
they're the new They're a new style. It's a style. It's a new thing in and of itself, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think every brewery's going to have one pretty
Yeah.
much. And if you open a brewery now, it's a lot of what you do have.
Yeah. Conversely, the Brute IPA has kind of waned, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the revolution, counter-revolution, but maybe not quite. Maybe it just didn't, maybe it didn't need a... We'll get into that. But anyway, so trends.
Yeah.
And then also you read a book on your...
Did-
So we're going to go deep on your book.
That's a big accomplishment for me. It's been a while since I've read a book in a few days, sat down and knocked it out. That's maybe a sad statement to where my life's at right now.
Life can be busy, especially with little ones and a brewery and all the other. But let's we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But you're open. Your tap room is open. Is it Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday through come see us Wednesday through Sunday. Open 4 o'clock most weekdays and 10 a.m. on Saturday and noon on Sunday. And we've always got a bunch of different stuff going on, different food trucks. We got a Blade Runner movie night. We partnered up with a local chef who's doing some different traditional Chinese takeout dishes.
Cool.
So the ticket comes with a glass, takeout, and a beer. We're going to have the movie going. Always something fun going on. I think we've got a bike ride going down to Valhalla, down by Rice on this Friday, and do that once a month. So, yeah, lots of fun stuff going on.
That's cool. And then, of course, your beer is available in cans.
It is.
Anywhere finer beers are sold.
Yeah, pretty much in the Houston area. HEB, Specs, Kroger, Total Wine, Whole Foods, and a ton of local independent down south of the Nobi guys and D&Q and all the awesome beer spots.
Yeah, I know our HEB always has it. I'm up in 290.99. Fairfield HEB keeps it right there in the middle, right when you get to the beer section. The lights shine down.
Yeah, we put those lights there ourselves. So.
It worked well.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for good lighting. that's my. If I weren't doing podcasting, it'd just be lighting. I'd just be going to people's houses and lighting stuff up. But thank you again for Mini Boss. Not just from, I love it too, but my house is a happy place when that's in the refrigerator. I will say this though. It used to be for a while my wife didn't drink all that much beer, and so my beer was safe. And now when I come home, might not be there.
Yeah.
And so it's hey, I'm really glad you're enjoying this, but will you save me one? it's a mixed thing, It's like when you have a really good beer and you're looking forward to it, and then it's not there. That's another thing when your kids get a little older and they start eating all the food. And you're we had these leftovers. This is gonna be fantastic. And you go in there and there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Talk about a punch to the gut.
I really wanted that pizza. Yeah.
Pizza's the big one.
Yeah.
Cold. I love cold pizza.
Yeah.
And you had your mind. You had your heart set on it as you're driving home. It's I'm just gonna grab myself a couple slices of pizza. Yeah. It'd be fine. It's all gone.
Just the empty box taunting you.
Yeah. There's always Last night I came home. This morning was trash pickup day, and when I got home last night, opened the garage, all the trash was sitting on top of the trash can. I'm why is the trash? Why are the bags all on top of the trash can? I was this doesn't make any sense. And I was sure, it's full. All right, maybe it's full. Nope. Completely empty trash can. And then, my wife happened to be up last night. I got home at midnight. She's yeah, I told him to take the trash out and just kind of put it in the same place. It's but it's... Did you tell them to put it on top? No, I think that's just what they thought. I was huh. And so I asked my daughter this morning, y'all put the trash on top of the trash can. Why did you do that? Well, Mom didn't say put it in. I was okay.
Technicalities.
Yes.
I love that doing 90% of the effort to do the job, which is not that 10% to actually finish it, just leaving it mostly done, but not actually.
Yeah. I was feel free anytime you want. Lift that lid and just put the bag in there. It's but Mom didn't say. I was well, okay. I'm telling you can.
Yeah.
Feel free. All right. Well, I think that's a good... you know what? That's a little word of wisdom right there for you to take with you as you're driving around or falling asleep or sitting at work trying to avoid it. Just feel free to open up that trash can, whatever your trash can in life is. Feel free to open that lid and put that bag right on in. So, anyway. All right. Well, we'll wrap there, and then we'll have some exclusive content for the Patreon subscribers. So if you want to hear all about Casey's views on what's coming up next... Uh-oh, what happened there? Buzzed out. It's the mic. We'll fix it. That's fine. But we'll come back. So subscribe on Patreon if you want to hear that. And thanks for listening. So for Casey, I'm Josh. Come down to Eureka Heights and pay him a visit. This is InterBrews.
This is InterBrews.
The preceding has been a presentation of Stewed Productions.